The court is on edge. All eyes are on the accused, yet nobody knows who is going to crack under the intense glare of justice: the husband, the wives, or the truth itself. Secrets that were hidden for decades are on the verge of bursting under the intense glare of justice, and tonight, everything will be changed forever. Who will emerge unscathed when loyalty to the family meets betrayal? Kody is seated at the defense table, his hands shaking minimally as the weight of the world rests heavily upon him. Robyn sits across the room, clutching the edge of the bench, nails biting into the slickwood, her eyes scanning to the gallery. Christine's jaw is clenched, her customary cool replaced with a seething anger, and Janelle refuses to make eye contact with anyone, feigning to read documents she has memorized already. Meri shifts uncomfortably in her chair, casting a pleading glance at the judge as if expecting the law itself to wipe away what's to come. You won't believe what follows. The first witness takes the stand, and the atmosphere thickens. The stenographer's machine clacks and snaps, a metronomic tick reminding everyone that every word will be engraved in history. The case revolves around allegations of financial mismanagement, promises broken, and hints of treason that have dogged the family for years. The prosecutor's tone is firm but with an edge, a knowing intonation that betrays the fact they possess the key to something no one even guesses. Why were these accounts strained all at once? The prosecutor asks, her eyes boring into Kody with accusation and anticipation. Cody's throat tightens as he swallows, aware that each word may make all the difference. I was keeping the family safe, he says, his voice barely perceptible, but the whole courtroom creeps closer to listen. Christine snorts softly, disbelief etched across her face, while Robyn's lips tremble as she struggles to maintain composure. What he says next will shock everyone. The bailiff announces the next piece of evidence, a folder thick with emails, text messages, and handwritten notes. Janelle's hand hovers over her mouth. Meri's eyes widen. The space closes in, each breath thick, as if the air itself is plotting against them, smothering them under the crushing weight of reality. Kody opens the book, hoping that simplicity can somehow redeem him, but in his heart, he recognizes that once these words are spoken, nothing will ever revert to the delicate normalcy that reigned in their past lives. As the prosecutor starts reading the first email, the camera sweeps across the wives. Robyn appears betrayed, Christine appears calculating, Janelle appears terrified, and Meri appears dazed in shock. Every word cuts through the courtroom like a blade. The judge clears her throat, that low, authoritative sound that brings everyone back to order. Mr. Brown, she says, your defense will decide more than the fate of this trial. It will determine the destiny of this trial. It will determine the destiny of this family. The hearing goes on, tension building. Kody struggles with his defense, attempting to juggle truth with protection. Flashbacks flash before his eyes, all-night fights, side door confidences in the living room, broken promises. The viewers can almost hear the unspoken screams of regret, feel the tension in every strained heartbeat. Christine leans forward, eyes squinting, poised to jump at any sign of weakness. Robyn struggles with tears, the weight of truth harder than she ever could have dreamed. Every secret comes with a price tag, and the accounting has only just started. Outside the courtroom, whispers fill the hallway. Cameramen realign lenses, reporters write frantically, and the whispers of the case permeate every crevice. In this household, love, commitment, and betrayal are so deeply entwined that even the law cannot disentangle them. Every witness, every shred of evidence, every tense look tightens them closer to an instant that none will ever forget. And when finally the gavel rings, the consequences will alter everything. The scene ends with Kody looking in the direction of the wives, doubt and fear in his eyes. There are 4 of them, each a tempest, a tidal wave of feeling just waiting to crash. The judge declares a recess, but no one gets up. The room hangs in expectation, as if the walls themselves were waiting with bated breath. What earth-shocking secret will be revealed after the break? Stick with us, because nothing is as it appears. The courtroom resumes after the charged recess, and the atmosphere is nearly smothering with tension. Kody is back on the stand, his hands shaking faintly, eyes flicking nervously between prosecutor and judge, and Robyn is forward, knuckles white, as if clutching the rim of sanity itself, while Christine's grin conceals a tempest. her mind whirling with tactics to strip away each and every flaw in Kody's testimony, and Janelle's lips quiver as she does testimony, and Janelle's lips quiver as she does, and Janelle's lips quiver as she does in hand. And Janelle's lips quiver as she did her, Robyn is quiver and she did, and twiver and she did such, them Northburton's quiver as she did self, quiver as she did strip, not rend asunder all she has struggled to maintain, but the prosecutor's first words cut through the room like a knife. Mr. Brown, could you tell us why the family's accounts were accessed late one night without permission and utilized in a manner opposite to your initial claims? Kody swallows, his throat parched, and a flicker of panic crosses his features. He pauses, looking for words, but the memories of wakeful nights and whispered rows weigh upon him with crushing intensity, and in that stillness, Christine leans forward, eyes narrowing, waiting to seize upon any weakness. Robyn's lips tremble as she holds back the tears welling up to spill, and Meri fidgets uncomfortably, her eyes following the floor, avoiding everyone on the floor, avoiding everyone of floor, avoiding everyone is, process beloy, avoiding everyone is for, avoiding everyone of floor, avoiding everyone is, amongst process beloy, avoiding everyone is, follows following the floor, avoiding everyone is pondros, avoiding everyone is The prosecutor pushes open a laptop, and the soft light catches Kody's face, drawing out the deep creases of concern etched across years of stress and secrets, and the courtroom waits on bated breath as the first emails appear, each more incriminating than the last, proof of midnight transactions, conflicting vows, and menacing whispers previously made right in front of them, and with each sentence builds, hearts racing as the room, hearts racing as the room, hearts racing as the room, racing as the room, last, hearts racing as the room, hearts racing as the room, list each sentence builds, hearts racing as the room, out, until even the judge sits forward, her eyes narrowed, demanding truth from a man who feels trapped and vulnerable. Is this true? The prosecutor inquires, voice steady but slicing, and Kody slowly nods, not quite audible. Yes, I was trying to do what was best for all of us, but now I understand how mistaken I was, and the courtroom gasps, a shared catch of breath as the truth falls upon them like a tempest. Robyn buries her face in her hand, tears streaming freely, while Christine's smirk is replaced with a hard line of rage held in check, waiting to take advantage of every mistake, and Janelle's eyes widen in fear as she sees just how delicate their family is. The judge calls for the next witness, a financial advisor who had worked with Kody for years, and as the advisor steps up, the tension is palpable. He lays out intricate details of account movements, suspicious patterns, and unexplained withdrawals, each revelation adding fuel to the fire, and Kody's defense begins to crumble under the weight of undeniable evidence, his excuses sounding hollow as Christine leans in, whispering under up 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 hollow as Christine leans in, whispering under up as Christine leans in, whispering under up umhodo as Christine leans in, whispering under up as Kody's composure, heart aching with betrayal, and Meri's hands shake as she grips the bench. Each concealed truth has an effect, and the next instant will alter everything. As the cross-examination begins, the prosecutor's questions grow sharper, precise, targeting Kody's credibility, asking him about late-night phone calls, secret meetings, and promises broken, each query cutting deeper, each answer weaker than the last, and the courtroom becomes a stage for emotional devastation, with the wives' reactions telling their own stories, Robyn's sorrow, Christine's calculated anger, Janelle's fear, and Meri's shock. Audience drawn into the maelstrom of tension, and suddenly, a new piece of evidence is introduced. A voicemail from months ago, recorded in secret, where Kody's voice admits doubts and fears that no one had ever heard, and as it plays, the room goes silent, every ear straining, every heartbeat accelerating, the weight of betrayal palpable. Robyn's tears fall freely now. Christine's eyes glint with anticipation. Janelle's shoulders slump in dissipation. 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 Janelle's shoulders slump in Despin's eyes glump in dissipation. Janelle's shoulders slump in Despin's eyes glump in Despin's fashion. Janelle's shoulders. Truth has finally caught up. The judge intervenes, a call for calm, but the damage is irreparable. Whispers spread through the gallery. Journalists write frantically, and Kody sits immobilized, knowing the laboriously built veneer of protection has been destroyed, the reality of exposure leaving him exposed, and the tension heightens further as the prosecutor leads Christine to the witness stand, her face inscrutable, a mask of serenity covering the turmoil within, of serenity covering the turmoil within, adity covering the turmoil within. Observations. The court is enthralled. Words slice like knives, revealing inconsistencies and emotional violations, and the audience understands the weight of each disclosure, the emotional burden bearing down as if they themselves are part of the turmoil of the family. Robyn appears conflicted between allegiance and heartache. Janelle becomes more afraid, Meri becomes more incredulous, and Kody can hardly face anyone's eyes, filled with shame and regret, while Christine commands the space, her deliberately cautious words destroying every defense left in Kody. The prosecutor takes advantage of the momentum, presenting text messages between Robyn and Kody that undermine previous claims, emails that hint at agendas, and photos that reveal secrets that no one was anticipating, every new bombshell raising tension higher, and the judge leans forward, voice firm. This family's honor is at stake, and the court requires truth, while the gallery whispers each individual sensing the gravity of decades of secrets and dishonesty boiled down to these minutes. Can the family ride out the storm that they have created for themselves? Stay tuned, as the next bombshell will leave you aghast. Kody's voice trembles as he attempts to defend himself. Robyn's eyes well up with tears of love and outrage. Christine's face turns stern. Janelle mutters under her breath, and Meri fights to keep her cool, each response creating a vivid picture of a family hanging in the balance. More and more witnesses are brought in throughout the session. Friends, neighbors, former co-workers, each one placing another piece of the puzzle, each one building emotional significance onto Kody's crumbling defense, the courtroom a pressure cooker of accusation and guilt and sorrow, and every look, every slight movement ratchets the tension, the suspense mounting to a certain climax. In the late afternoon, a shock witness appears, an individual from the family's history, one who possesses information that will turn the whole thing upside down, and as he gets on the stand, the room waits with bated breath, the air charged with expectation, and bit by bit, the witness starts giving an account of moments of secrecy and deception that even surprise Christine, whose smirk wavers as the truth comes out, leaving Robyn panting. Just smirk wavers as the truth comes out, leaving Robyn panting. Just smirk wavers as the truth comes out, leaving Robyn panting. Just story. And late thing in Jits afters, leaving Robyn panting. Jits starts comes out, leaving Robyn panting. Jits starts just giving and panting. Jits starts tooth comes slumps lower in his seat, realizing that sins of the past are finally coming back to haunt him, and each member of the family feels the force of exposure bearing down with merciless intensity. The prosecutor leans forward, voice deadly yet tranquil. Do you understand now how your behavior has impacted everyone around you? Kody nods, voice cracking, yes. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I just wanted to protect us. But the courtroom is aware better, the suspense now unbearable, as the union of past errors, concealed betrayals, and emotional revelations merge into a climax of suspense, the wives' emotions raw, tangible, and irrevocable, every one of them struggling with opposing sentiments of love, anger, and betrayal. Each confession, each look, each unspoken word has repercussions that can never be taken back. The judge announces a short recess, and as the families exit, hushed tones echo down the corridors, the crowd torn between shock and expectation, aware that the next hearing will unveil even more sinister secrets. Allegiances will change, and maybe hearts will shatter in other ways nobody can foresee, leaving everyone, both inside and outside the courtroom, desperate to find out what comes next, because in this family, nothing is ever straightforward. Tenuous under the force of truth. The courtroom reconvenes after the charged recess, and the air is almost electric with tension, every heartbeat echoing off the polished walls as Kody returns to the stand, his face pale, jaw tight, and eyes darting nervously toward the wives, each of whom radiates a storm of emotion. Robyn's hands tremble slightly as she clasps them together, trying to anchor herself while her mind races with memories of long-buried arguments and broken prom-buried 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 arguments and broken prom-buried. A calculated glint in her eyes as she prepares to seize any hint of weakness. Janelle fidgets with her pen, her fingers tapping out a nervous rhythm, and Meri's lips press together, a thin line of disbelief as the weight of the family's secrets presses down on her. The gavel of the judge is brought down, demanding silence, and the prosecutor stands up, voice firm but cutting. "Mr. Brown, the court has received new documents showing private communications that conflict with your previous testimony. What is your explanation?" Kody swallows hard, his dry throat as though the words themselves are caught, and finally stammers, I was trying to do what I thought was best. I didn't want to hurt anyone." But the courtroom remains unmoved, the audience gripping every word, every pause, aware of the fissures appearing in his defense. Christine leans forward, narrowing her eyes, curling her lips into barely repressed eagerness as she interrupts, "Mr. Brown, your intentions and actions never seem to match. How are we supposed to believe that?" Robyn softly gasps, part sorrow and part incredulity, and Janelle looks nervously across at the gallery, and Meri's hands shake slightly, as she holds the side of the bench. The prosecutor presents the first of the new evidence, a string of text messages between Kody and an unnamed partner, suggesting concealed agendas, furtive meetings, and decisions taken in secret from the wives, and the courtroom leans forward as one, tension palpable enough to reach out and touch. Every disclosure is more incriminating than the previous one, threads of deception, miscommunication, and concealment being exposed in the moment. Kody's gaze darts to Robyn, silently begging for compassion, but the pain and betrayal etched on her face are unmistakable. Can a family endure if trust has been broken so utterly? Tune in, because the next revelation will have everyone reeling. The prosecutor goes on, leading the court step by step through bank records, all-night emails, and fiscal irregularities that present a narrative of uninhibited decision-making and concealed motives, and the audience senses the weight of the evidence, the urgency of years accumulated in secret spilling over into these nervous moments. Christine's eyes flash as she pounces on inconsistencies, leaning into the microphone, her voice firm but biting as she confronts Kody. "Why did you say one thing to Robyn, Christine something else, and Janelle something altogether different? Were you too worried about their responses, or did you only believe that dishonesty was the best way to keep yourself safe?" Kody's hands tremble visibly, a bead of sweat forming at his temple as he struggles to reconcile truth with justification, while Robyn presses her fingers to her lips, eyes brimming with tears of frustration and heartbreak, and Janelle buries her face in her hands for a fleeting moment, unable to bear the intensity, and Meri's lips tremble, whispering silently, "Why now?" The courtroom is still, the pressure of decades of hidden secrets bearing down as the next witness is summoned, a family friend who had been a witness from the outside in, their testimony holding out the potential for a shift in tides altogether. The friend describes personal talks, silent exchanges, and the gradual loss of trust that had been ignored by everyone, their serene retelling juxtaposed with growing tension in the room, every sentence causing waves of shock within the family, and Kody's face whitens even more with every expose. Christine leans in, whispering almost imperceptibly to the prosecutor, a small smirk of satisfaction flickering across her face. Robyn shakes her head in silent anguish. Janelle bites her lip to stifle a sob, and Meri's hands clench as if trying to hold herself together, all the while knowing that the next turn could break them entirely. The judge interrupts, her voice firm yet fair. "Mr. Brown, you do know how important credibility is. Answer for yourself clearly," and Kody nods, voice shaking. I was wrong. I see that now." But the prosecutor continues to press, showing him photos of intimate moments he contradicts with his words. emails with vague yet damning words, and a diary entry by one of the wives that chronicles her suspicions and sense of betrayal. The courtroom reacts in waves. Robyn gasps audibly. Christine's eyes narrow with calculated scrutiny. Janelle shifts uncomfortably in her seat, and Meri's expression crumbles into disbelief, each reaction painting a portrait of emotional turmoil that transcends words. Every revelation peels back a layer, exposing wounds that have festered in silence for years. Kody's defense is beginning to fall apart, and even his own attempts at explanation ring hollow in the face of compounding evidence, tension almost too great to bear as the court enters cross-examination of Christine herself. She steps forward with a contained calm, describing intimate conversations, tearful confrontations, and glimpses of Kody's behavior that imply a pattern of secrecy and manipulation, and the room is held hostage. Each sentence she utters appears to tighten the unseen vice around Kody, the wives, and even the gallery seated in rapt attention. Robyn's eyes glisten with tears. Janelle whispers under her breath, Meri's hands shake, and Kody's shoulders slump, the burden of exposure pressing down with relentless force. The prosecutor interjects at key moments, reinforcing Christine's testimony with corroborating evidence, cross-referencing texts, bank statements, and witness statements, creating a narrative that leaves little room for doubt, each piece of evidence hitting like a hammer, each word adding to the emotional crescendo. Kody stumbles, his voice breaks, and he looks at each wife in wordless appeal, forgiveness, or understanding, and the wife's response is a combination of agony, rage, and grief, the tension almost palpable, charging the air with the voltage of unexhausted discord. The judge requests a brief recess, giving everyone time to comprehend the enormity of what has been disclosed, and as the courtroom clears marginally, whispers spread through the corridors, journalists frantically taking notes, and the public is left in suspended animation, aware that the next hearing will probe even deeper into secrets, deceptions, and the emotional disintegration of the family. As they return, the second segment presents a new witness, a person who has been privy to key, undocumented events in the family's history, whose account jeopardizes all that Kody has worked to preserve, and as they start their testimony, tension explodes. Secrets of clandestine meetings, hushed arguments, and covert decisions come out, revealing depths of family dynamics hidden from view until now. Christine observes with a combination of satisfaction and anticipation. Robyn grapples with reconciling love and betrayal. Janelle's tension is thick in the air, and Meri becomes increasingly incredulous by the second. The carefully maintained facade of the family is crumbling, and the truth is merciless in its search. Kody's voice trembles when he attempts to expound or rationalize acts, but the cross-examination leaves him vulnerable, and the burden of feeling fear, fury, anguish, remorse crushes down upon all the players. The judge orders order, but the tension in the room cannot be restrained. Each disclosure, each quiver of voice or hands adds tension. The prosecutor hits the last nail of the day, presenting a recording that confirms years of suspicion, each lie and deception now irreversibly established, and the court responds with one collective gasp, the faces of the wives reflecting heartbreak, anger, and vindication as Kody sits agog, the hugeness of it all descending upon him like a weight of lead. Robyn's tears flow freely. Christine's expression is cold but triumphant. Janelle's body shakes slightly, and Meri's disbelief is complete. The tension has reached a breaking point. No one in this room will leave unchanged, and what comes next could shatter the family forever. And as the gavel of the judge brings the session to a close, the courtroom gradually vacates, murmurs of shock and rumor lingering in the air, the emotional heat remaining like smoke over a fire, and audiences left wanting to discover the next reveal of secrets, betrayals, and truth that seems poised to lay waste to everything. Because in this family, loyalty is tenuous, love is tried, and justice, legal and emotional alike, is bought at an odd and emotional alike, is bought at an odd and an odd at an odd at an odd and odd at an odd and odd and strad, legal and emotional alike, is bought at an odd and emotional alike. The courtroom resumes with a palpable air of foreboding, the atmosphere charged and heavy with expectation, each footstep resonating like a drumbeat heralding revelation as Kody sits on the witness stand, shoulders slumped, face white, eyes jumping nervously towards Robyn, who sits forward, fists clenched in anguished silence. Christine reclining with cold, calculating eyes that seem to see right through Kody's very soul. Janelle nervously twiddling eyes that seem to see right through Kody's very soul. Janelle nervously twiddling, lips set in tight, unyielding lines, the burden of long-borne secrets weighing upon her like a vice. The judge clears her throat, commanding silence, and the prosecutor stands, voice even but sharp. Mr. Brown, the court has heard evidence from several witnesses accusing emotional control and hidden decision-making that has affected not just your family's economic welfare but also your relationship life. Can you reply? Kody swallows hard, his dry throat, voice little more than a whisper as he speaks. I thought I was keeping everyone safe. I didn't intend to hurt anybody. But the courtroom is merciless, the air thick with tension. As Robyn's eyes well up with tears of grief, Christine's lips curve into a small, controlled sneer. Janelle bites her lip to keep it from quivering, and Meri's shaking hands clutch the edge of the bench, praying silently that she will remain calm. The prosecutor opens a laptop, the glow casting eerie light on Kody's agitated face, and starts showing a sequence of documents, text messages, and photos that show late-night gatherings, hushed confidences, and secret decisions that defy all previous allegations. With each disclosure, the room seems to close in, the walls closing in, the air thick with disbelief and expectation, and every gasp, every sharp breath from the wives and courtroom room rives and courtroom room rives and courtroom room rives and courtroom room rooms, broom room rives and courtroom room rives and courtroom room rives and courtroom room rooms, brooms courtroom room opens a left room rives and courtroom room rives and courtroom rooms. Christine slants toward the microphone, voice cold but composed. Mr. Brown, how do you explaining one thing to Robyn, another to Christine, and a third something altogether different to Janelle? Were you worried about their reaction, or did lying have anything to do with it? Kody's hands shake visibly, a bead of sweat forming at his temple, eyes pleading silently for forgiveness. While Robyn's lips quiver, Janelle shifts uncomfortably, and Meri's expression crumbles, all four women embodying the emotional wreckage wrought by years of secrecy. Every lie, every secret carries consequences that cannot be ignored, and the next revelation will leave everyone stunned. The prosecutor then produces a surprise witness, an erstwhile family confidant, someone who has heard unrecorded words and clandestine decisions, whose view has the potential to destroy all that Kody has sought to keep hidden. As the witness ascends the stand, the courtroom collectively holds its breath, all eyes glued to the drama unfolding. The witness recounts private arguments, clandestine meetings, and unspoken promises, each word layering tension upon tension, exposing the intricate web of secrecy that has been woven over years, and the emotional impact is immediate. Robyn gasps audibly, Christine's eyes narrow with cold calculation. Janelle leans back with a shaky breath, and Meri's lips part in disbelief, all of them absorbing the shock of truths they had long suspect of truths they had long suspect of truths they had long suspect truths they had long suspect truths they had long suspect of truths they had long suspect of truths they had long suspect of belief. All of them suspect suspect impact suspect truths they had long suspect of truths they had long spod calculation. The prosecutor deftly cross-matches emails, texts, and financial records, weaving an unbroken tale that leaves Kody grasping for rational explanations. His voice trembles as he tries to square past choices with the moment, yet each try seems woefully insufficient against the crush of proof and testimony. The judge curls forward, voice authoritative. Mr. Brown, the court demands coherence. Your actions have repercussions that reach far beyond the courtroom. Kody's fists clench, knuckles white, and he mutters, I was trying to protect the family. I didn't know how much damage I was doing. While the gallery watches, enthralled, catching sight of the emotional breakdown unfolding before them. The drama intensifies again when Robyn is summoned to the stand, her own emotional security precarious, voice shaking as she details her own history of betrayal, disappointment, and disorientation. She speaks of late-night rows, furtive telephone calls, and times when she felt left out of decisions that touched her own life, and the courtroom freezes, hanging on every sentence, the emotional impact almost suffocating. Christine watches quietly, a calculated calm on her face, as Janelle and Meri glance at each other, understanding from each other as they face the emotional tempest. The intensity of emotional conflict is overwhelming, and the viewers can sense every beat of the heart and every drop of tear. The prosecutor brings in additional evidence, emails that hint at clandestine alliances, photos that freeze a moment of deception, and testimony from family acquaintances who witnessed aberrant behavior. Each one ratcheting up the tension, each new discovery stripping away another layer of Kody's insulated world. Kody's defense starts to crack. His efforts at rationalization ring false, the cracks in his credibility growing by the minute, as the wives' responses are a combination of grief, incredulity, and quiet satisfaction, each one building on the sense of drama that hangs in the air. The judge appeals for a short recess, but the ferocity remains, the atmosphere thick with tension as murmurs sweep through the court and the crowd struggles to make sense of the developing mayhem. When the session resumes, Christine takes the stand again, her testimony precise, calculated, and emotionally charged. She details confrontations, inconsistencies, and moments where trust was undermined, her voice calm yet cutting, every word striking like a sharpened blade, leaving Kody visibly shaken and the wives' emotions on full display. Robyn's tears, Janelle's nervous shifts, Meri's trembling hands, Christine's controlled fury, 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 almost unbearable. The prosecutor takes full advantage of each detail, systematically laying out evidence to support Christine's version, while cross-examining Kody with precision surgical cuts, pointing out contradictions, revealing misjudgments, and exposing emotional manipulations that have been unchecked for years. Sapping each new disclosure adds a level of suspense, suspending viewers on the edge of their seats, eager to find out what comes next. Kody falters, voice shaking, attempting to explain, but the weight of exposure, guilt, and shame presses down relentlessly. Robyn's emotional breakdown is evident. Christine's expression hardens with vindication. Janelle whispers softly under her breath, and Meri's disbelief is stark and heartbreaking. The judge cracks in occasionally to remind everyone of the importance of calmness, but the emotional intensity will not die down. The courtroom electric with raw emotion, tension, and suspense, each witness piling on top of the previous one, adding drama upon drama, leading to a crescendo of expectation. As the session progresses to its conclusion, one final surprise twist is revealed. A previously unrevealed recording emerges, verifying clandestine talks and covert activities that no one saw coming, and as the tape plays, the wives respond reflexively. Robyn gasps, tears streaming. Christine's eyes flash with calculating satisfaction. Janelle reclap, and Meri claps hand to mouth, taking it all in numb disbelief, reeling from shock, and Meri claps hand to mouth, taking it all in numb disbelief. Discovery washing over him like a tidal wave. The family's fragile veneer disintegrates utterly, and the courtroom breathes bated breath, waiting for the consequences. The session ends with the judge's gavel crashing foreclosed on, marking an end to proceedings for the day, yet the atmosphere is taut, charged, and stifling, as everyone, the families and the audience alike, recognizes that the next session will discover even greater secrets, reveal further betrayals, and test loyalties in ways that will forever reshape the dynamics of this fragile family. Whispers circulate through the hallway, cameras snap, and endly. Whispers circulate through the hallway, cameras snap, and snap, and the hallway, cameras snap, and exfa stop, and sta stop, and the next up, and test loyalties and snap, and struggles with the emotional destruction and looks forward to the storms still to come, because in this sphere of love, betrayal, and justice, no one is safe, no secret hidden, and each disclosure has consequences that will reverberate far beyond the confines of it. Most? Was your intention protection or something else entirely? Cody's hands shake visibly, eyes pleading for understanding from the wives. Robyn covers her mouth, stifling a sob. Janelle bites her lip, and Meri's hands clench on the bench as emotional devastation engulfs them all. The courtroom appears to throb with the gravity of revelation as another witness is summoned, this one deeply privy to Cody's innermost discussions and choices, whose words have the potential to turn everything on its head. They relate clandestine meetings, secret deals, and covert manipulations, and ones she doesn't even see coming, patterns that even Christine did not foresee. And as each piece of information is revealed, the pressure builds. This piece of information is revealed, the pressure builds. The audience shares the urgency of each revelation, hearts racing as the truth surfaces piece by piece. Cody's voice breaks as he attempts to explain, I was attempting to protect the family. I didn't see the aftermath. But each explanation falls short against the piling evidence and emotional gravity. Robyn sobs quietly. Christine leans back with a mixture of triumph and calculation. Janelle's body trembles with anxiety, and Meri's lips quiver. The courtroom a crucible of emotion, tension, and suspense, each moment feeling like it could tip the balance entirely. The prosecutor presses on with the cross-examination, pointing out inconsistencies between Cody's evidence and recorded fact, whilst Christine makes insightful observations, uncovering emotional betrayals, inconsistencies, and moments of hidden intent. The courtroom listens to every word in rapt attention, the tension almost too much to bear as the family's inner conflict is exposed for all to see. The judge intervenes now and then, asking for clarity and concision, but the emotional intensity won't let up, tension escalating as each discovery, look, and movement contributes to the tension. Towards the middle of the session, a shocking twist is introduced. A recording surfaces, capturing conversations between Kody and a third party discussing decisions in a manner that contradicts everything he has claimed, and as the tape plays, reactions are immediate and visceral. Robyn gasps, tears streaming freely. Christine's eyes gleam with satisfaction. Janelle's body stiffens in shock, and Meri's hands fly to her mouth. Unably stiffens in shock, and Meri's hands fly to her mouth. Unably belays. Unably's hands fly to her mouth. Unable accessions. Unable of the sessions. Unable accessions in shock, and Meri's hands fly to her mouth. Unability stiffens in shock, and Meri's hand. Kody slumps, overcome, shoulders dropping under the burden of exposure, shame, and guilt, his voice a mere whisper as he says, I never meant for it to come to this. The prosecutor jumps at the chance to pull all the threads together, cross-referencing previous testimony, papers, and this fresh evidence, creating an impenetrable web of secrecy, manipulation, and unexpected outcomes, leaving Kody open, vulnerable, and fighting to hold himself together. Each disclosure plunges the emotional stakes, drawing viewers deeper into the whirlwind of heartache, deception, and suspense. Christine continues to testify throughout the session, her words delivered in tightly controlled precision, deliberation, and emotional acuity, detailing intimate confrontations, discrepancies in Cody's accounts, and incidents of deep disappointment, leaving Kody visibly shaken, Robyn heartbroken, Janelle nervous, and Meri shaking in disbelief. Intermittent recesses are called by the judge, but tension persists, heavy and oppressive, as whispers spread through the courtroom, cameras flash, and the gallery leans forward, mesmerized by each moment's progression. The prosecutor calls yet another witness, someone with intimate knowledge of Cody's personal dealings, whose testimony uncovers even deeper secrets, adding new layers of betrayal and tension. With each revelation, Robyn's sobs intensify, Christine's satisfaction grows, Janelle's anxiety peaks, and Meri's disbelief becomes almost physical, the courtroom a tempest of raw emotion. Kody tries explanations, his voice cracking, but the burden of exposure and shame is unrelenting, every attempt at explanation collapsing under examination and solid evidence. At the height of the session, a last, stunning piece of evidence is produced. Private messages showing concealed coalitions, clandestine schemes, and motives no one could have foreseen, every word dropped like a mallet blow. With Kody hunched in dejection, Robyn sobbing outright, Christine's face hard and satisfied, Janelle shaking, and Meri covering her face in complete incredulity. The tempest of fact continues to brew, and the fragile ties of the family are ready to unravel, leaving audiences pleading for closure. As the gavel falls to end the session, the courtroom slowly drains, the atmosphere still charged, muttering of shock through the corridors, cameras clicking, and all the players, the families, the audience, left shaken, aware that the next sessions will drive the family toward final disclosures, emotional reckoning, and climactic confrontations that might forever change them. The courtroom resumes with a tense, near electric quality, every on Kody as he faces the stand again, weariness and fear etched deep in his face, his hands slightly shaking as he grips the bench for support against the weight of piling evidence and the unrelenting scrutiny of the judge. Robyn leans forward, fingers clasped, knuckles white, eyes frantically darting between Kody and Christine, her feelings a maelstrom of love, betrayal, and hailings a maelstrom of love, betrayal, and hailstrom of love, betrayal, and hailstrom of love, betrayal, and hailstrom wise, and hailstrom of love, betrayal, and hailstrom finger hellings frail, and hailstrom of love, betrayal. Composure, eyes glinting with the pleasure of watching years of dishonesty unravel, Janelle shifts nervously, her foot tapping on the floor in anxious cadence, and Meri sits stiffly, lips compressed, eyes wide, every heartbeat pounding like a drumbeat of coming revelation as the judge brings the court to order, her gavel coming down sharply, cutting through tension. The prosecutor stands up, voice firm but incisive. Mr. Brown, the court has also come into possession of additional proof of activities carried out in secrecy, choices impacting various family members, and manipulations that have resulted in considerable emotional turmoil. How would you account for these actions? Kody swallows hard, voice shaking as he speaks softly. I only wanted to protect everyone. I never meant to hurt anyone. But the courtroom is unyielding, all eyes on him, all movements, all breaths heightening the tension. Christine leans forward, speaking in sharp, controlled tones. Protect? Mr. Brown, how does deception and secrecy constitute protection? Were you afraid of conflict, or was it planned? Robyn fights back tears. Janelle bites her lip nervously, and Meri's hands tremble as the reality of Kody's choices settles over the room like a storm cloud. The prosecutor reveals a stream of documents, from emails to financial records to photographs, each more incriminating than the previous one, illustrating secret financial transfers, secret meetings, and one-sided communication decisions opposite Kody's previous claims, piling suspense and incredulity in the courtroom. Each hush, each gasp, each look raises the stakes, and the audience is infused with attention as if it were a palpa is infused with attention as if it were a palpa tension as if it were a palpa audience stakes and incredulity in spatial. Each look raises the stakes, and the audience is infused with attention as if it were a palp of the stake. Every revelation peels back another layer, keeping viewers on the edge of their seats, hearts pounding with anticipation. The first witness of the session, a former family confidant, recounts private conversations, emotional confrontations, and secretive behavior that casts Kody in a shadow of manipulation, while the wives' reactions are immediate and raw. Robyn gasps audibly, tears spilling. Christine's eyes narrow in measured satisfaction, Janelle's shoulders tense visibly, and Meri's lips part in disbelief. The prosecutor cross-references these testimonies with texts and emails, each thread of evidence telling an unremitting tale of secrecy and emotional deception, leaving Kody struggling to stay credible as his defense starts to unravel under scrutiny. Christine leans forward, voice steady but biting. Mr. Brown, why did you repeatedly act without consulting those most affected by your decisions? Were these choices truly meant to protect, or were they meant to shield yourself from accountability? Kody's hands shake, voice cracking as he pleads silently for understanding from the wives. Robyn covers her face momentarily. Janelle swallows hard, and Meri's trembling hands clutch the bench. All four women embodying the raw emotional wreckage wrought by long-hidden secrets. The prosecutor raises the stakes, calling a witness deeply involved in Kody's private conversations, whose words unveil secret deals, secret meetups, and manipulation habits that even Christine never saw coming. And as every sentence is spoken, the courtroom is a suspense crucible, the emotional tension nearly strangling. The brunt of revelation weighs down relentlessly, holding viewers fixed and hearts pounding with every new discovery. Kody stumbles, his voice failing him as he tries to justify his past behavior. I I thought I was doing what was best. I didn't see the consequences. But every protest rings untrue in light of the snowstorm of evidence and heartfelt testimony. Robyn sobs quietly. Christine leans back with a mixture of vindication and calculation. Janelle shifts nervously, and Meri's disbelief is palpable. The courtroom a living portrait of tension, raw emotion, and suspense. The prosecutor methodically ties together witness accounts, documents, and communications, building a damning narrative that leaves Kody exposed, vulnerable, and emotionally unmoored. The wives' reactions intensify with every point made. Robyn's grief palpable, Christine's satisfaction measured, Janelle's anxiety sharp, and Meri's disbelief raw. The judge interjects at intervals, urging clarity and focus, but the tension refuses to abate, each revelation, glance, and tremor adding to the suspense. Halfway through the episode, a stunning revelation. A previously unreleased tape appears, eavesdropping on intimate discussions and extracting private thoughts, secret anxieties, and decisions made in the dark, each sentence coming like a sledgehammer blow, dropping Kody into a slump, Robyn sobbing uncontrollably, Christine cold-eyed and satisfied, Janelle shell-shocked and immobile, and Meri gasping in horror. Each one of the secrets revealed turns up the tension another notch, leaving viewers angry for more. The prosecutor capitalizes on the momentum, presenting additional documents and corroborating evidence, tightening the narrative of deception and emotional manipulation, leaving Kody struggling to maintain composure as the wives' emotions are laid bare. Robyn's tears of heartbreak, Christine's calculated fury, Janelle's anxious tremors, Meri's stunned disbelief, all contributing to the intensity of the courtroom drama. As the proceedings go on, Christine again takes the stand, providing minute descriptions of confrontations, inconsistencies, and emotional betrayals with precision, leaving Kody visibly rattled, Robyn heartbroken, Janelle tense, and Meri besieged, the courtroom holding its collective breath, every word, every reaction, every hesitation. Judge summons periodic recesses, but the tension lingers, heavy and nearly strangling. As whispers circulate in the gallery, cameras click, and each participant absorbs the emotional burden bearing down relentlessly. At the end of the session, a final, explosive bombshell, private messages showing clandestine alliances, covert agendas, and previously unseen intentions each presented with annihilating clarity. As the proof comes out, Robyn gasps, freely shedding tears. Christine's face sets in victory, Janelle shakes, and Meri puts her hand over her mouth in horror. The tension almost unendurable as Kody collapses, laying bare and emotionally shattered, he collapses, laying bare and emotionally shattered, The tempest of truth is unforgiving, the bonds of the family stretch to the point of rupture, and the courtroom waits in collective bated breath for the consequences. The session ends with the judge's gavel coming down firmly, marking the day's proceedings at an intensely dramatic end, but the emotional charge remains. Whispers of shock continuing down the corridors, cameras snapping, and the crowd left clamoring to witness the climactic unveilings and ultimate showdowns which will decide the fate of the family. Because in this house of deceit and betrayal, with every secret that is unearthed, there is an unbearable prail, reverberate far beyond the court doors, leaving hearts shattered, loyalties tested, and lives forever altered. The courtroom crackles with tension as the final hearing commences, all eyes on Kody as he takes his seat on the stand once more, shoulders slumped, face white, eyes haunted from sleepless nights and the relentless stress of disclosure. Robyn leans forward, hands clasped tightly, knuckles white, tears welling in her eyes as she prepares to receive the disclosures to come. Christine leans back with cold, calculated control, eyes glinting and 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 calculated control, eyes gleepless tent beams cold, eyes glinting and calculated control, eyes glinting and calculating of an expertly spun web of deceit. Janelle shifts uncomfortably, foot tapping on the floor, lip bitten in nervous expectation, and Meri sits stiff, hands clasped, mouth slightly agape, every feeling written on her face, and the judge brings the courtroom to order. gavel crashing sharply, cutting through the charged hush. The prosecutor stands up, voice firm and sharp. Mr. Brown, the court has compiled irrefutable proof of clandestine conduct, manipulations, and decisions made without the knowledge or agreement of those most impacted. How do you explain such actions? Kody swallows hard, dry throat, quivering voice as he whispers, I thought I was protecting everyone. I never meant to hurt anyone. But the courtroom is merciless, all eyes upon him, tension thick. As Robyn presses her lips together to keep from sobbing, Christine leans forward, her eyes sparkling with pleasure. Janelle bites nervously at her lip, and Meri's hands shake on the bench. The prosecutor reveals a chain of incriminating emails, communications, and financial documents, each one worse than the previous, of clandestine meetings, secret transfers, and sole decisions, creating an image of deception, secrecy, and emotional manipulation. The courtroom hangs on every word, every revelation, with tension reaching a crescendo, hearts pounding with excitement. Every secret that is revealed heightens the tension, with viewers sitting on tenterhooks eager to learn the outcome. A pivotal witness, a close family member, testifies, describing late-night fights, clandestine discussions, and clever manipulations that place Kody in a negative light, their words echoing through the courtroom, leaving Kody pale and shaking, Robyn quietly crying, Christine narrowing her eyes with pleasure, Janelle fidgeting nervously, and Meri gasping in shock. The prosecutor cross-matches these testimonies against tangible proof, texts, photos, and words, crafting a story so powerful that Kody's defense starts to unravel under the relentless barrage of questioning, his voice weakening with each rebuttal. I thought I was doing what was best. Christine leans over the microphone, voice even but slicing. Mr. Brown, how can secrecy and dishonesty be excused as protection? Were you covering yourself, or did you find the truth too risky? Kody's hands shake, knuckles clenched white, eyes silently begging for comprehension. Robyn puts a hand over her mouth. Janelle swallows hard, and Meri's shaking hands grip the bench as the air is almost claustrophobic with tension. Another witness is called, someone intimately familiar with Kody's private decisions, whose testimony reveals hidden alliances, secret meetings, and emotional manipulation previously unknown, each word layering suspense, each revelation striking like a thunderclap. Robyn cries openly, Christine's expression hardens with triumph, Janelle trembles, and Meri's disbelief is palpable. Every layer of truth unveiled intensifies the emotional stakes, leaving viewers unable to look away. Kody stammers, voice shaky as he tries to justify his actions. I never intended for it to hurt anyone. But the prosecutor interrupts unflinchingly, pointing out contradictions and linking together a decade of lies, leaving Kody vulnerable and emotionally adrift, while the wives' responses, Robyn's sadness, Christine's chill triumph, Janelle's fretting, Meri's utter shock, weave a braid of unvarnished emotion that fills the courtroom. The judge intervenes at crucial times, calling for clarity, but the emotional intensity will not let up. The courtroom electric with tension as each revelation, glance, and tremor edges suspense higher. Halfway through the episode, there's a jaw-dropping revelation. An unexpected recording resurfaces, exposing clandestine discussions, concealed agendas, and unseen motives nobody had expected, every word dropping like a sledgehammer, leaving Kody doubled over, Robyn in tears, Christine's eyes sparkling with premeditated pleasure, Janelle shocked into speechlessness, and Meri her hand clamped over her mouth in shock. The prosecutor pounces, weaving it all together, messages, witness accounts, and financial irregularities, building a bulletproof case of deception and betrayal that has Kody stumbling to hold it together, his defenses shattering under the unrelenting examination.
The truth is merciless, each exposure catapulting the family to further emotional and psychological breaking points.
Christine testifies anew, carefully detailing showdowns, contradictions, and deceptions, each sentence biting with accuracy, leaving Kody stunned, Robyn devastated, Janelle on edge, Meri in despair. The courtroom listens on tenterhooks, suspense nearly impossible to bear. Undefined. The judge takes short recesses, but tension is palpable. Heavy as a cloud, rumors eddying in the gallery, flashes of cameras, all observers transfixed bebgras, all observers transfixed begst bebgras, all observers transfixed beb cameras, all observers transfixed bebgav. Rumors transfixed web cameras. All observers transfixed web cameras. All observers transfixed web vents, but tension. A final, explosive revelation comes. Private messages verify clandestine alliances, secret agendas, and backroom decisions, every detail more stunning than the previous one. As proof unfolds, Robyn weeps openly, Christine's face sets with victory, Janelle shakes in shock, and Meri gasps in awe, while Kody collapses in despair, completely naked and emotionally shattered. The prosecutor recapitulates, painstakingly linking all the dots, making every move, every lie, every manipulation of the emotions inescapable, not allowing for excuse. The emotional high point as the courtroom holds its collective breath, dot undefined. The fragile relationships within the family balance on the end of a thread, the storm of truth having ravaged through and left nothing intact. Kody tries one more time at explanation, barely above a whisper. I thought I was keeping us safe, but the load of evidence, testimony, and emotional destruction proves too much, and his own responses, Robyn's sorrow, Christine's tempered vindication, Janelle's distress, Meri's incredulity, are a tableau of pure, unvarnished emotion. The judge issues a stern reminder about accountability and transparency being top priority, yet the emotional fallout remains, almost palpable, as everybody in the courtroom commits to memory the depth of betrayal, cover-up, and broken trust. The proceeding ends with the gavel falling squarely, as proceedings come to a close, but tension continues to linger like smoke in the room, murmurs of shock resonating through the corridors, shutters snapping, and the crowd left gasping, hearts racing, eager to pontificate, speculate, and discuss their reactions, because within this family, each secret comes at a price, each lie has an end, and each truth revealed leaves scars that will revealed leaves scars that will leave scars that will revealed leave scars that will reverberate chakras that will reverberate reactions, because revealed leaves scars that will revealed leave scar, forever reshaping relationships, trying loyalties, and altering lives in ways none could have conceived.